Welcome everyone to Young at Heart session number 100. I'm Father James DeLucio of the Paulist Fathers, back in the basement because I want to sing some songs for you, and the acoustics are great down here. But as you can see, I played around with the lighting. Do you like this more dramatic effect? I thought it would be fun. For our 100th time together, it's actually a little more since I had a few extra special ones, but in terms of counting, it's 100. And the numbered selections that we've had, or sessions that we've had. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to go back to a favorite childhood character of mine, probably of yours, none other than James M. Barrie's Peter Pan. For when I was a boy, Peter Pan was my favorite character. I would play Peter Pan frequently with my sister Jeannie and my brother Edward. I was Peter Pan. Jeannie would be Wendy, and my brother Edward, who wore glasses at the time, although I did not. He played John, perfect, and Michael, but the villains, Captain Hook, the Crocodile, and Mr. Smee, and the pirates, they'd all be part of our imaginations. And we'd run around the house so often playing Peter Pan, it's no wonder the carpet, it may have gotten worn by us. And we would often play, our favorite version at the time was the Walt Disney version. We had an LP, remember those? And it was the story of Peter Pan with the songs from the film, told by Jimmy Dodd, who was the adult leader of the Mickey Mouse Club, which I sat in front of the television at the age of 4 with my Mickey Mouse hat by my mom, who thought I was so cute. And I grew up with that. I've already mentioned I grew up on Mickey Mouse, so enough of that. I'd like to sing some songs from the story of Peter Pan from the 1954 musical theater piece, however. For those, even more than the Disney versions, songs really have stayed with me because they introduce to Peter Pan a kind of adult sensibility. For although the boy is filled with courage and adventure and fun and youth, there's also a deep melancholy about the story, especially if you go back to the original play written by James Barrie, I think in 1902, so it's well over 100 years old. And the play shows both the light and the dark about childhood, about life. Peter has all these positive attributes, but he has a bit of anger and defiance. Clearly, that's obvious, right? He doesn't want to grow up. But there's also a sense of loss in making such a choice. And he has some memories that kind of want to pull him back to the joy of actually being a child where you're cared for. And although you have the adult supervision, you can feel safe. So the first song that I want to sing is a lullaby that he remembers, to invite us all to think back to when lullabies were sung to us. And I hope they were. Try to envision yourself getting ready or in bed, and who was singing to you. Now, some of us didn't have that particular gift. If not, maybe we sung some lullabies to ourselves, which would be part of that inner strength that helped us persevere. So however you're going to come at it, or with nostalgia, or maybe even a little regret, it's okay, because we're all in this together. And both the light and the dark, the joy and the sadness of childhood and of us can bring us down to earth and make us more deeply human and loving and patient and caring with one another. So I'm going to sing this lullaby to you and for you, as well as for me. All right, let me find my starting note. I'm going to start on a E flat. I think it's an E flat. This piano is terribly out of tune. But when I want a note for this piano, I go one note higher, and then I know it's usually the note that I want. Once upon a time and long ago, I heard someone singing soft and low. Now one day is done and night is near, I recall the song I used to hear. My child, my very own, be not afraid, you're not alone. Sleep until the dawn, for all is well. Long ago this song was sung to me. Now it's but a distant melody, somewhere from a past I used to know. Once upon a time and long ago, my child, my very own, be not afraid, you're not alone. Sleep until the dawn, for all is well. Long ago this song was sung to me. Now it's but a distant melody, somewhere from a past I used to know. Once upon a time and long ago. Now, in the original version of this musical, there was another song, not this one. They called in Jule Styne and Betty Comden and Adolph to supplement the score that was written by Mark Charlap and with lyrics by Carolyn and Leigh. Now, they originally had this song, which I love. I heard it first as an instrumental version, and I went searching to find a recording of it with the lyrics, and I couldn't, but I did find the lyrics. And then when there was a version of Peter Pan on television, one of those live events that NBC had, I think it was more than 4 years ago, they included it. But I didn't like the way they placed it in the story. In my version, and it's always good for us to evoke our own, and not evoke, well, you can evoke your thoughts, but you can create. We can create our own versions. I would have Peter singing this at some point, remembering, and then, as this song will indicate, he goes back because the pull of the lullaby brings him to go back to his home. And he had certain expectations, of course, but also they're not met. And this song is about that. He would have come back to tell those who were still with him, the lost boys, Wendy, Michael, and John, what happened to him. And this song is called When I Went Home. All right, no more intro. Let me go to it. I have to start on a G. Okay. And now what's the word? I didn't tweet. Although I do put these Young at Hearts on my Twitter account too. I tweaked the lyrics a little bit. Now, it is an infringement of copyright, but I'm not making any money from this, so I don't think they'll mind. And I tweaked it to put it in the context that I just shared with you. Okay, so here's my G. With thoughts of home, I thought that certainly the nursery window would for sure be opened up for me. I think I'm starting a little too high, although I could do it. I want to start lower. Why did I write start on a G? Foolish me. But hey, it'll keep us young at heart. I think I'm going to start on an F? No, an E sharp? When I went home. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay. When I went home, I thought that certainly the nursery window would be for sure be opened wide for me, and there would always be a welcomed light. When I went home, I counted so upon my mother waiting up to ask me questions where I'd gone, and we'd talk on and on. We'd be all right. But the windows were barred and the doors were barred, and I felt such an awful dread. And for sure there he was, some other boy was sleeping in my bed. When I went home, I found out, sad to say, you can expect to be forgotten if you run away. And so I couldn't stay that lonely night. When I went home, that lonely night. When I went home. Then I go up a little. When I went home, I counted so upon someone would be waiting there to ask me questions on and on, and where I'd gone, and was I all right. But the door was barred and the windows barred, and I knew with an awful dread that somebody else, some other boy, was sleeping in my bed. You see, when I went home, I found out, sad to say, you can expect to be forgotten if you run away. And so I couldn't stay that lonely night when I went home. Now, put in a comment. Do you think that song should have stayed in the show? And if you'd like to hear some of my other musings on how it could have been used, go to FR, as in father, frjamesdelucio.com. It's my blog, and you'll see a whole description of the way I like to play doctor, and in this case, lyric doctor, and what I would do with Peter Pan's song by Mark Charlap, and the lyrics by Carolyn, Leigh, and my own. I'm going to close with something a little more joyful, of course, Peter Pan's theme song. And let me find that note, and I think it goes. Do you know what I'm singing? It's that wonderful song Never Neverland by Jule, Styne, and Betty Comden and Adolph Green. Okay, here we go. So, here's to 100, here's to you, and here's to Never Neverland. I have a place where dreams are born and time is never planned. It's not on any chart, you must find it with your heart. Never, never land. It may be miles beyond the moon, or right there where you stand. Just keep an open mind, and then suddenly you'll find never, never land. You'll have a treasure if you stay there, far precious more than gold. For once you have found your way there, you can never, never grow old. And that's my home where dreams are born and time is never planned. Just think of lovely things and your heart will fly on wings forever. It never, never end. Thank you so much for joining me. I so much had fun preparing this for you. I hope the results are good. Please have a lovely evening. Keep young at heart, but also grow up with a young at heart sensibility. God bless you all. Keep safe. Wear the masks. And sing a lullaby to your kids, grandkids, nieces, or nephews. Good night. God bless. Bye, everyone.